Now, the search for the anti-graft boss has started in earnest today, with candidates appearing before the selection team. For this top challenging job was former Permanent Secretary Philemon Mwaisaka. Six candidates were shortlisted for this position. Let's now join our reporter, senior reporter Rita Tinina, who is joining us from our city centre studios for more details on this particular process. Good afternoon, Rita. The process kick-started today. How would you describe it?
Well, first of all, Akisa, this is another phase of the search for the EACC chair after advertisements that is calling for applications, getting those applications, shortlisting. Today, they are conducting the interviews, the Public Service Commission conducting interviews of the six candidates who were shortlisted. This is an exercise that is not open to the press, but according to a program that they had released earlier on their website, the Public Service Commission should by now have interviewed three people, William Kipkembo, Kirwa, Philemon Mwaisaka, and Archbishop, former retired Anglican Archbishop Eliud Wabukala. In the afternoon, Peter Bita Ondieki, Ross Bosiborio Soro, and Erastus Reria are scheduled to appear before the Public Service Commission to defend their suitability for the position. And during these interviews, you sort of describe them as brief. Each candidate has just 1 hour and 15 minutes before the Public Service Commission. And since the sessions are close to the media, the Public Service Commission has said that it will brief the press later on in the afternoon around 4 p.m. When it is done with interviewing all the six shortlisted candidates. Akisa.
Now, Rita, we have seen positions like this when interviews are being held. They are usually held in public. Most of them are usually live. Why is this particular one different?
Well, the Public Service Commission has not given any reason for that. Actually, most media houses sent their representatives, sent their journalists there, hoping to cover the interviews, but they were turned away, told that the interviews will not be open to the press. In their website, they had indicated that any members of the public who had any submissions to make on the candidates, the six candidates, they were allowed to present those submissions before the interviews began. That is before today. We are not quite sure yet how many people or what kind of submissions were given by members of the public. And during these interviews this morning, as they appeared before the Public Service Commission, the candidates were required to carry several things, including their national identity cards, academic and professional certificates, as well as clearance letters from the Kenya Revenue Authority, the Higher Education Loans Board, as well as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Akisa.
Rita, thank you very much for that. That's our senior reporter, Rita Tinina, joining us from our city centre studios. And as she says, the interviews were not made public, but we are expecting a press briefing from the selection team later on in the day. And here is where we will bring it to you live and give you more details about what exactly was said. But even as the search for the next boss for the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission continues, let's just take a look at the past people who have held this particular position of the EACC boss. And the most recent, of course, was Philip Kinisu, who held office for barely 6 months from December 2015 to August 31st after he was hounded out of office for allegations of graft, and most of it emanated from the NYS scandal. And before Philip Kinisu, let's see who we had previously before Kinisu came into office. Mumo Matemu, from May 2012 to May 2015, about 3 years. He was hounded out of his office together with his vice chairperson. They opted to resign. And of course, this was also based on integrity issues, and which seemingly is the reason most of the bosses leave office even before their terms are complete. Well, before Mumo Matemu, we also had the PLO Lumumba, Patrick Lumumba, from September 2010 to August 24th, 2011. Same issues were raised, and the National Assembly as well had its word that he should vacate office after his work. But he is known to be among the toughest of those who held this particular position since it was formed. Previously, it used to be the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, CAS, but now it's the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Commission, but PLO Lumumba is one of those who served as the boss of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and was hounded out of office by the status quo, so to speak. But let's take a look at who we had. Before PLO Lumumba, we had Aaron Ringera from March 1999 to 2000. This is just before the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission became the EACC. Aaron Ringera served this particular commission when it was the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission from March 1999 to December 2000. All right, let's go on next to see who came in previously. John Haron Mwao, who was the director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission from 1997 to 1998. And this is not a stranger to the public eye. He also served in that particular that particular office as the boss of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission. Of course, those are the previous men who've held this particular position. Notice that there's no woman who has held that particular position, so probably this time round we would have a change. But as the interviews continue, we'll definitely be keeping you up to speed with the developments from that end. But away from